Gratitude.
Ownership.
Leadership. Discipline.
All right, we're here. Wrap-up show.
Season wrap-up show.
Silver Ball.
Silver Ball.
Overall, great season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we talked about, we wanted the gold ball, but I mean,
Right.
Silver Ball ain't too shabby.
Right. Recommend winning, but won a lot, and really proud of our kids, and nothing's going to take away from how much they've meant to me and the coaching staff, and how much coaches have meant to players and players to coaches, and been a phenomenal year.
Yeah, and the sad thing about sports is at the end of the day, everybody loses their last game except for one team.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
one team gets to hurrah, hurrah,
Right.
hurrah.
Sure.
But I'm not too depressed or upset. Because
Right.
again, I'm thinking about the entire season.
Sure.
And my favorite points of the entire season. I'm thinking about the Deer Creek game. I'm
Right.
thinking about Westmore game. Right behind us, we should have the send off, and that was special
That was
too.
super cool. Yeah, it's awesome.
We had the news out there, we had the
Yeah.
band out there,
Right.
the cheerleaders out there.
And I think that gets kind of lost. That's one of the powers and the really cool thing about playing, in a one horse town where we are Choctaw Yellow Jackets. We are not a multi-school district. We are one town. And from that standpoint, we're kind of rare in 6A that it's not a multi-school district.
Right.
You have one community, one town. These kids grew up playing for Choctaw, want to be Choctaw Yellow Jackets. And they're helping raise the next generation that wants to be Choctaw Yellow Jackets. Looks up these guys, and I love seeing little guys, signing autographs or wanting autographs on the sidelines, and
Yeah.
older guys are, and you see Choctaw, jerseys everywhere, and Gold Standard, and Little Stinghams, and Charlie's on all the bumper stickers and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's really cool, and just the amount of school spirit that we had at the game, how filled the stands were, how much buzz there is in the community, and like that stuff that that you don't really understand what a big deal that is until years in the future. And we got to a point in the program where it's like, I felt like the kids felt the same way. Obviously, the goal is to win the state championship. You want to pour everything that you have into it. We've poured our soul into it, into doing it. But really, you just enjoy the kids, and you enjoy it. And that was kind of all of our coaches' sentiment, and the kids is like, man, we want one more week. And anytime that you're able to go, to the very last second, of a season, that's pretty cool. And everything comes to an end. Win or lose, it all ends. And you hope that I talk to our kids all the time that you will never get from football anything tangible enough to make it worth all the sacrifice that you have to put into the game. But what you do become in the process is really what you get through football and in sports in general. Where I told our guys that we rolled into the stadium as champions. And they have that, and that lives inside them regardless of outcomes. And we all know people that have been successful or won at something that maybe didn't really win at life. And I have no doubt that our guys are going to be winners and champions of life, and that's most important to me and our coaches.
Well, here's the most important element of the game that I want to talk about that proves your point. They scored a touchdown right at the very end, and
Right.
everybody was like, "But not your team."
No,
All the fans were like,
hoping not all.
And I was on-
We got pretty good track record coming back.
I was on Yellow Jackets TV.
Right.
This was the most watched ever in the
That's
history
awesome.
of Yellow Jackets
Thank you,
TV,
guys. Thank
and we
you.
didn't even
Absolutely.
have video.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah, it's really
a cartoon radio. And so I was like, you know what? This is what we need to do.
Right.
We just need to score a touchdown, get an onside kick, score a touchdown.
Right. Have a chance.
And I'm sure you said that on
Yeah,
the sideline.
yeah, absolutely.
And it was like, yeah, miracles happen, like we
Right.
talk about. And so what do? They drove with their heads held up high, scored a touchdown,
Right.
set up for the onside kick, didn't get the onside kick.
Right.
So, but that to me puts a period, an explanation point. The end of the season is they went out fighting. They didn't go out giving up. They didn't
Right.
go out feeling sad for themselves. They
Right.
end up trying to win the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've said this before. Like, I think a lot of people have no idea how difficult winning is, how difficult winning consistently is, and then how difficult building a program that has a winning culture is.
Right.
It is not easy. That's why it's not done very often. And our kids have done that. Our coaching staff has done that, and so it's like I always tell them, Coach Clark has a saying, our defense coordinator is, so what, now what, next play, and that's really what it is, good or bad. Monday following the state championship game, we went back to work. We're doing middle school strength conditioning and lifting. And when we win it, guess what we'll do? Monday afterwards, we're going to do strength conditioning and work. Like, that's the process of being a champion. I can't rely on ups and downs to determine my effort level. It's like my effort level has to be that of a champion regardless of external circumstances that are going on. right? And that's how I live my life. That's how I want our kids to live their life. That's how they do live their life, where they're going to continue to battle regardless of circumstances or outcomes and just continue to go. And so, whether we're up by 100 or down by 100, that should not affect your effort level, or your belief level regardless.
Right. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, I invite everybody to just go back and watch some of your favorite moments of the season. See that fight, see that spirit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw it. I saw it game one. I saw it in the championship game. I saw pride.
We have so much adversity going through the season that we don't talk about. Where you have 6 starters go down, for the season with season-ending injuries, that we don't talk about, and our kids just keep finding a way.
No, we don't talk about that.
Guys change positions, guys move, guys do whatever's asked of them, and guys just continue to get better. We have former junior varsity guys that become varsity starters and go excel. And so, how about this for a statistic? Next year on defense, we return 13 starters on defense.
Wow.
Well, obviously those that are good at math understand there's only 11 positions. But due to the amount of injuries we've had, we actually returned 13 starters on defense.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's better than 11.
I thought you were only supposed to start 11.
We'll sneak in 2 more.
I like your strategy.
But it's just like, because our kids always find a way. Our coaches always find a way. And that's an internal motto, that we talk about, is always find a way. And kids have, and kids respect doing things that are difficult. I feel like, and our coaches do as well. And it's a lot of fun, man. I love our kids and love being with them. And that's the most thing that you'll miss on, Monday following the state championship game. Obviously, on Saturday and Sunday, but obviously Monday seeing the kids, I'm sad, but I'm most sad the season's over, period.
Right.
Regardless of outcome, just because it's such a fun ride. They're such an enjoyable team, and it's a lot of fun to be around.
And it's, being a former coach, it's when you're into the season, like you just. Well, and then when the season's over, regardless of you really focus on the people at that point, not the score,
right?
But the people and the journey you've been with the people. Because
absolutely,
the true senior night for us was that night.
Right.
That was the last time that those seniors got to play for Choctaw High School. Right. And so that's what I thought about the weekend afterwards, is not the score, but just like all these great seniors.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
guys have done so much for the program and moved the program so far forward, and just, where they got the baton, as opposed to where they're handing the baton off,
right.
Is miles down the road, and those guys have been so much fun to be around and just watch those guys grow. And, another benefit of being, in a place like Choctaws, I've known most of those guys since they're in 7th grade. Been with them for, a long time, and it's sad, and it's sad regardless, because you just don't want it to end, because you enjoy being around them. But I also know, that like their best days are, 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road, when you know what they're going to, what kind of people they are, so you know what they're going to be accomplishing, what they're going to be doing, how they're going to contribute to a society, and those guys are not scared to come and put in some work, and make something, great. And so, I couldn't be more proud of those guys.
Well, and at the end of the day, whether it be football, basketball, band, cheer, you name it, it's education. We're educating students, and it's not just how to get the ball across the goal line, but it is leadership skills.
Absolutely.
It is
dealing with adversity, right? How do you overcome it, right? Like, do you collapse under pressure? Do you do all these things? You get all these little micro scenarios, inside a football game that like prepare you for life that as an adult, and so you get free practice on how you're going to handle these things, overcoming obstacles, all these kind of things that our kids have done and proven to do time and time again, and so it's like I've seen it. Like, I know that they're champions. I know how they're going to handle things.
But I'm excited, overall the school atmosphere. We're
second to none.
Second to none. Yeah. And we're winning a lot of second places and third places. We're getting some first places. We're all over the place, but we're in all the different programs. We're up there competing with the best.
Well, I've said before, no knock on previous or anything like that, but there's never been a better time to be a Choctaw Yellow Jacket than right now. You have champions raising champions, and you have guys that are winning championships that are bringing up guys that are going to win championships.
Right.
And we're winning from top to bottom, everywhere that we go. And as you mentioned, all activities, all sports, everything's top notch. No better time to be a Choctaw Yellow Jacket than right now.
Well, and I think that's the greatest way to end it. I'm looking forward to some of these elementary school kids being up here in the championship game too.
These guys are rolling. We had third grade, Sooner State champions. 4th grade, Sooner State champions. 4th grade's been in the state championship game 3 years. Out of 4. Every single Iron FC team, Little League made playoffs, multiple in semifinals. I mean, guys are just winning and winning and winning like never before. It's been really cool.
And how many high school coaches could just rattle that off?
well, guys aren't in it. You know,
Right.
and there's no secret to success. It's hard work. You know, and I know my goal is to know every player that plays football in city limits of Choctaw. You know, from K through 12, we're pretty close to that. So we're real hands on.
Well, we'll be back. We'll be back in August, and we're doing it
Let's go.
again, and we're going to make another run.
Appreciate everybody. Fans are awesome this year. Support was awesome.
Yeah, it
You know,
was.
can't say enough about it. You know, from the send off, just the home games, all the stuff. How well we travel. Really appreciate everybody. It's just I feel like the community's really come alive, and it's so cool to be a part of. Not only as a coach, but as a father. Raising four boys in Choctaw. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Just such a wonderful community, and the best is still yet to come.
All right, let's keep it rolling, man. Until then,
Until next time.
stay classy.
you.